And welcome everyone to Learn a Trade channel. I am Kevin Tate. Glad to be here with you all today. The name of this broadcast today is Steps to Take to Troubleshoot a F7 Era on a Turbo Chef Oven. I'd like to first thank Ali Judja 97 for this video request. Thank you for the request, and hopefully this will be a helpful video for you. I also would like to welcome the new members of the channel. Thank you for your support, all of you. I appreciate you, and I thank you for your support. And today we'll be getting into F6 era on the Turbo Chef oven. I'd like to just go over, a few areas on the oven itself. This is just a image of the top section, the electrical compartment of the oven itself. And you can see that little blue circle back there in the back towards the top of the screen. I was just circling that rear middle fan. More than likely, if you have a F6 era, which is a EC temp era, that's the electrical compartment, is the temperature is too high. Excuse me. Yeah, that means the temperature is too high in the electrical compartment. And I don't know if you could see it in this image, but right between the two capacitors, there's a temp sensor facing down against the top of the cook cavity section, and that temp probe that will that temp sensor, it will measure the temperature of that electrical compartment. And when the temperature reaches a certain temperature, I believe it's between 150, 158. If it gets to that temperature, it will usually go ahead and kick in that error code, that F6 error code. And the reason I circled that fan in the back is because most times that fan will be not operating properly or not turning, at all. And that's the fan that cools that electrical compartment. So that would be first measure that I would look at is to pull that filter from the air filter from the back. And a lot of times you'll find that air filter matted with dust and grime. It Some of them are just very bad because the staff doesn't take time to clean them. So basically, you're looking at a blockage of the airflow when you have those EC temp errors. And I mean, sometimes you can have a issue with one of the components, the temp sensor or the fan or something like that. But for me, from my experience, the most of the time, it's been because the air filter was clogged and had never been cleaned. So that would be the first step I would take is to pull that air filter out, see if it's clean. If it's not, go ahead, clean it off, and then uh, you could go ahead and reset your error codes in the machine. if you have a Encore model or an older Bullet model, you usually can reset the fault codes, reset them back to zero. If not, the newer Bullet models, they don't have an option for you to clear out the error codes. So in that case, depending on if it's an older unit or a newer unit, you may not have to worry about zeroing out the error codes. And then, so another thing is after you do take that a look at that filter, clean it out, take a look at that center fan. Um, you'll want to take the top cover off so that you can get a good look at it and get a good look at the wiring and so forth. And then, sometimes you'll find that the wire may have gotten pulled off when someone was working in there or something, or the wiring just wasn't connected. So you will find that, but it's a good thing to check out the simple things first. And I will go over a flow chart that you will find in the service manual for the Turbo Chef oven, and you can download those service manuals from anywhere online. You can go to the web page, learnatrade.online, and you can go to the service manual library and you can download that video for free. Not the video, the manual. You can download the service manual for a Turbo Chef. You can download service manuals for just about every piece of equipment that you see in the C stores. Your roller grills, your Turbo Chef ovens, your ice makers, um, your for real blenders, um, your bun equipment, all of your bun equipment, the cappuccinos, the coffee, tea. You can download all of those manuals on our webpage. So you can always go there and take a look, or you can just Google it, and you should be able to pull something up, either through Parts Town or some other platform. But yeah, that's just my little quick synopsis on checking out that F6 era on the Turbo Chef oven. First, I would go for the simple things first, checking that filter, checking that rear middle fan, and then now I'm gonna see if I can switch over, go to the flow chart here for you. See if I can make it a little bigger. There you go. So this is the flow chart, the troubleshooting flow chart for the Turbo Chef oven for the F6 EC temp era. And what it's saying is it's going to take you through this flow chart. And if you're ever in a bind, this is a way that you can, check out these error codes. They have them all in the service manual. I believe this one is like between page 62 to 64, or 61 to 64, somewhere around there in the manual. So you'll be able to find it. But basically, they start off by saying, is the oven in an area of moderate temperature? And then they have down there 120 or cooler. So you just answer the questions as they go. And more than likely it'll be yes. If it's not in a place that's 120 or cooler, then you'll want to suggest that they relocate the oven to a cooler area in the building. And then if it's yes, it asks, does the oven have room to ventilate? Required clearance for the Turbo Chef oven. The top should have a clearance of 5 inches. and on the sides there should be clearance on each side of 2 inches. So a lot of you that are experienced and you're in the field right now, you've probably already run into it where you'll have those turbo chef ovens that the staff they'll stack the pizza boxes on top of the oven, and then they'll push them back so those boxes kind of overlap the rear fan area of the oven. So always be aware of that because that also cuts down some of the airflow for the oven. So you always want to have 5 inches of clearance behind there and from the top. So if they have like pizza boxes and stuff stacked on top, just advise your customers to find another location for the boxes instead of up on top of the oven. Okay, so moving on, if you do have good clearance, then it's asking, is the middle cooling fan rotating when the fan is turned on? And then it has a note, it says all three fans should rotate. So there are three fans on the back of the Turbo Chef oven. In case any of you are not aware, you have two fans on the side. Those fans are strictly for the canal for the magnetrons. Okay, that's to keep the magnetrons cooled down and to keep those side areas cooled down as well. And then you have your middle fan, which is for the electrical compartment. So you have three fans back there, and you'll want to. Yeah, it'll get into it in the flow chart as far as checking out those fans and then um, making sure that they're all plugged in properly and secured. So so it was yes. If it was yes on there, you'll want to make sure your middle fan is rotating. If the oven has been on, that middle fan should be rotating because that if the oven is on and they've been cooking, then it should be around 500 degrees so that that middle fan should be on if the oven was on. If not, then just go ahead, let the oven heat up, and then give it some time, and you'll see if the fan turns on or not. And then doesn't have, if the oven doesn't have proper ventilation, it's specifying that you should move the oven to an open area or remove items that are in close proximity. So that's what I was talking about as far as the pizza boxes and stuff. You don't want a lot of clutter around that machine because you want it to have the proper ventilation. Okay, so now when it asks if that middle fan is cooling, that cooling fan, if that middle cooling fan is rotating, if it was no, if that fan is not rotating when it should be rotating, then it says, is the wire harness properly connected? So that's the wire harness that I was mentioning earlier. Um, and it's asking, is that wire harness properly connected? And you'll be able to see because the harness and the fan, they have white terminals on the ends and they just, I believe it's three wire plastic white terminals and they just plug right in together. So you'll be able to tell uh, if they're if they're in properly or if there's a broken wire on one of the fan on that fan that's going to the harness. You want to check for broken wires, disconnected terminals, damaged terminals, and stuff like that. Um, so then it's saying check the cooling fan thermostat, K7 relay, and center cooling fan. So you will see the when you trace that wiring, you'll see that wiring feeds over to the K7 relay. And depending on which model equipment you have, if it's an older model, that wiring, you're gonna when you trace it, you'll see the K7, all of the relays on the right hand side of the machine. If it's a newer model, your relays will be on top on a board on top, or they will be in a on a board that has triacs. So either way, you'll want to trace those wires just to make sure that you have um, a good a good connection, and um, that K7 relay is not damaged. If that K7 relay has damage to any of the contacts, then that's probably why you're not getting any power to the fan to turn it on if the fan is in good condition. Okay, so it asks to check the cooling fan thermostat, K7 relay, and then it's if and again if the wiring, if you're checking the wiring on the harness, the wire harness, if you see that it's not connected or that it's damaged or something like that, then go ahead and correct the wiring. Go ahead. If you have to, you may have to just reconnect the terminals, or you might have to replace a terminal or something like that. But you usually will find that the terminal just came loose, and you can just go ahead and um, secure them back together. And then over on the left side of the troubleshooting, it asked about, is the middle fan rotating? And if it was yes, it says check for obstructions in the airflow and remove them and clean the filter. Okay, so when I first came on, I told you, like, when I see a F7, I go right to the filter. On the flow chart, it kind of leaves that filter for last, but when you're out there in the field, usually you try to go to your simplest things first. And I go right to the filter because 9 times out of 10, that filter's not clean, it's clogged, and it's blocking the airflow. So you'll want to check that. I suggest checking that first just to kind of cut down any time, so you're not holding yourself up on a job that you could be done with. And then over here on the middle part of the flow chart, it's saying this is the wire harness properly connected. And then if it's yes, then it says replace defective component. So that's saying that if everything's plugged in right and everything is checking out okay, um, then it's possible that that fan could be bad. So you'll need to replace that middle fan. And if that's the case, more than likely you're not going to have a fan on your truck for those. Um, so you would have to order the part, and that customer would probably have to be down until you could get the part in. If you had to, if they wanted to next day it or anything like that to get a rush on it, then go ahead and help them out and get it. See if you can get the part overnighted, or get the part sent as quickly as possible, and you can add that in with your cost. Just add that extra charge in with your costs if you're independent. Now, if you're with a company, more than likely the company will look into getting um, that unit back up as quickly as possible by putting in a rush order, or maybe if you're with a company, the company would probably have a loaner oven that you could swap that oven out until the new part comes in, and then go ahead and fix the part, and then bring back the repaired oven. But at least that way, the customer is not down for a significant amount of time, losing money on hot food and stuff like that. So those are just some tips on going over the F7 EC temp era message. And I hope this was helpful. And I know, some of you that are not familiar with the Turbo Chef, you may have questions. So feel free to reach out to me through email at learnatrade1@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me in comments and on YouTube, the community section. You can reach out to me there as well. I usually get back to everyone fairly quickly. So if you had any questions on this, if you have any other suggestions, I'm always glad to put videos together, put some content together that's going to be helpful. If you have a suggestion, go ahead and send it and put it down in comments, put it in the on the community section, or shoot me an email with your request for a future video. And don't forget, you can always check out all of the playlists on this channel as well. We have a lot of videos that you may not have seen that are on the playlist, the different playlists. So if you're into Slurpee machines, you're looking to learn more about Slurpee machines, go ahead and check out the Slurpee machine repair playlist. If you're looking for fountain soda repairs, check out our fountain soda playlist, and so on. Turbo Chef, we have a playlist for Turbo Chef. We have a playlist for HVACR repair jobs. So just browse the site and reach out. Let me know if this video was helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And once again, I want to thank all of the channel viewers, all of the website viewers, all of the channel members, and the website members as well. I thank you all for your support. I appreciate you. And that's all I have for now. We'll see you on the next one.